Welcome everyone, friends and furs of all species. I'm Dayzee, Hyena, and we're back with another episode of Angels with Scaly Wings. Real quick, I need to I'm wondering what dictionary are the creators of this game using, because our definition of good and their definition of good are obviously completely different. Because we had completed Remy's good end, and that was horseshit! Horseshit! How could they do that to him? Oh, y'all gotta go check that out. That was the most depressing shit. Anyway, in order to unlock the true ending again, I'm just gonna remind every time. We need to unlock 5 different routes. We have done, Anna, we have done Bryce, we have done Adine, and we have done Remy. So, the only one left is Lorem. Alright, so, we're gonna go ahead and do Lorem's ending, and that should unlock the true ending. So, let's get going. Alright, so we're meeting with Lorem. I went to the bar Lorem had suggested as our meeting place. When I looked around, I saw Bryce sitting at a table, talking to someone I couldn't see. I lingered on him for a second, but soon spotted Lorem in the corner of my eye. There you are! Hey, Lorem. It's good to see you. I thought you might not have shown up. Well, I'm here now. Yeah, I certainly see that. I'm kind of surprised that you wanted to meet me here. Don't take this the wrong way, but are you even old enough to drink? What are you talking about? Oh, I see. I can assure you that I am fully grown adult. My species does not get much bigger than this. Speaking of which, are you fully grown yet? How big do humans usually get, and how do you stack up comparatively speaking? Oh, and would you mind if I took some notes? Before we get into that, you haven't told me yet what exactly all this is for. Are you sure you're not getting... Hold on. Before we get into that, you haven't even told me yet what exactly all this is for. Are you sure you're not a reporter? If I was, Sebastian wouldn't have let me meet you in the first place. And I thought the uniform was just a clever disguise. It's real though, Sebastian knows I work for the local post office. Excuse me, but this still doesn't really tell me anything about why I'm here. You're a postman who wants to interview me for what exactly? Sorry, I guess I got ahead of myself here. Maybe a full introduction is in order. After that, you can decide whether or not you want to go through with this or not. Sure, go ahead. I recently graduated college with a degree in computing and moved here with a good friend of mine. This town doesn't exactly offer the best opportunities to put my degree to good use though. Then why move here in the first place? Living in the city can be very expensive. I can always move later when I get a job there. I've got other plans right now though. I'm working on a video game. A video game sounds interesting. Exactly! Video games and computers are just starting to catch on in places like this town. Making good content will be very important to give a good first impression. And humans have always been part of our media, books, movies, and now games. With you on our side, this could be an amazing opportunity. Well, or maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all. Why? I don't know. You don't seem so thrilled about doing this anymore. Besides, your job must be very stressful. And you're probably already in the spotlight all the time. And now, to top it all off, you get some postman harassing you for an interview. If you want to leave, I get that. Nah. Well, I'm already here and I have nothing else to do, so let's make the most of this. Yes, thank you. At least I won't have to be so careful now. With a reporter, I'd have to worry about things getting misinterpreted or being taken out of context. You should still be careful. What you tell me now will influence how your entire species will be represented in my game. Don't worry though, I will treat this delicate matter with the requisite emphasis. I'm sure of it. How should we do this? Let me think. Why do you want to make this game in the first place? I always wanted to make a video game. I've had this idea for a while. It seems now is the right time to do it. It's almost as if you arrived at the perfect moment. I don't know. Don't you think my visit will overshadow your efforts? People may not be so interested in playing a game about humans anymore if they have the real ones show up. Good point, but the vast majority won't get to meet you personally anyway. If I say I did and modeled the humans in the game after you, people will flock to it, get a similar experience. As long as it's based on the truth, you got my support. Awesome! Okay, but why focus on humans? What makes us so important? If there's one thing that people here love, it's humans. It doesn't matter if they just see them in media or believe in them as mythical creatures. For me, humans are always real. I just didn't know whether I'd get the chance to meet one myself. I guess I can cross that one off the bucket list. Now that we're here, I can tell you no expense will be spared to make our portrayal of humans as accurate as possible. I'm with you on this. For good reason. I just love humans. If you say it like that, it actually ends up sounding pretty weird. Besides, what if I turn out to be a horrible person? What would you think about humans then? It wouldn't change anything because I wouldn't base my opinion of an entire species on the interactions with a single individual. Then what's your current opinion of us based on? Just the myths we have about the previous portrayal of humans in our media. But I suppose that's why I'm here talking with you now. I want the truth in all of it. Telling you all of it might not be such a good idea. Oh yeah, I guess that would take a lot more time than we have today. Anyway, what's the actual game about? What do you do? It's a community simulation game. It starts with the player character moving into lamps generated community, which is inhabited by all kinds of mythical creatures, humans included. Mythical creatures like humans, huh? Not only are the towns you move into unique, but the inhabitants are too. There are a variety of traits that get randomized, both in looks and personality. There are many things you could do, but it is very open-ended and you can live your life there however you want to. Sounds like my kind of game. Already? I couldn't ask for a better compliment than that. What other mythical creatures are there besides humans? I haven't worked that out yet, but humans alone give us a lot of material to work with. How so? The question of mythical humans can be tackled in a variety of ways. There are many different interpretations of what the humans are like. For example, in general, the mythical human can be divided into 3 categories. Firstly, the human as a physical creature. Secondly, the human as a non-physical entity. And thirdly, the human as a spiritual being. Let's start with the physical aspects. Sure, since one of our myths tells us that humans who created us eventually turned into a dragon, there's a lot of room for interpretation as to how similar humans actually are to dragons. I can see that you don't have wings, but most of us are able to create fire in some way, or at least have a breath weapon. How about you? I can rub 2 sticks together and make fire. Does that count? Not really. Having hands that are dexterous enough to do that is remarkable, though. It's a bit strange, though, because our myths also say that you gave that ability to us. Interesting. Maybe it's meant to be taken literally, meaning that when that ability was given to us, you lost it. Or maybe we never had it in the first place. Humans are known to have created a lot of things out of nothing. After all, we only needed to discover how to create and use fire because we didn't have the natural ability to do so. We have a proverb that sums this up pretty well. What is it? Necessity is the mother of invention. So the lack of natural abilities drove innovation forward. What an interesting thought. Here's another thing. You may have different images of humans, but in the end, only one can be right. It's also possible that what you've been led to believe about humans doesn't actually refer to us at all. Are you implying that you are human? No, I'm bitch. No, I'm totally a human. I'm not a hyena in any way. No, huh? No, I'm just saying that if you really had been in contact with humans before, as your myths imply, they would need to belong to the same species as me and thus be very similar to myself. If they aren't, then they either weren't humans at all or have very different origins. So you say there is a possibility that our humans and your humans may be something different altogether? I suppose you are right, in the ways that our images of humans are very inconsistent. They certainly can't all be human in the way that we could refer to a single species. The name should probably be reserved for yours. And we haven't even touched on the other 2 categories of human. What did you call them again? Non-physical human entities and spiritual humans. What's the difference? Honestly, the definition gets a bit muddled here. Going by conventional belief, a ghost would be considered a human who has died and thus changed into a different form. We would call this a spiritual human. An angel, on the other hand, would be classified as a non-physical entity. What do you know about angels? That they have scaly wings? Angels basically look like humans with wings. Their existence in ancient scripts was used to lend some credence to the theories about humans having become dragons. Because of the wings? Exactly. But some of your dragon species don't have wings either. Yes, as I said, once you start delving into that kind of stuff, it all becomes very convoluted. When we met, you also told me something about a 4-headed human. Right, with that, we go into the realm of creatures that don't make much sense at all. Having 4 heads just seems unlikely from an evolutionary perspective. That might not really matter if we're talking about a non-physical entity or spiritual beings, though. So in the end, you have a lot of different ideas whose only connection to each other is that you use the word human to describe them in some way. And they share at least some basic characteristics. You fit those as well, by the way. What are they? You certainly are not a reptile like us, but you don't look like a conventional mammal either. We are mammals, though. Yes, but you are so different from other mammals that we know. Ultimately, you are quite unique. We don't know any other sentient mammals. You've got a point there, I'll give you that. Strangely enough, we have plenty of human-like creatures in our mythologies as well. Oh, do tell! You already mentioned ghosts, but some other ones include dwarves, giants, fairies, and... lamps. Lamps are totally a human mythology. I think I've heard of most of these before, but what is a Essentially, a is a human without a head. A human without a head? How does that work? How do they eat? Instead of a head, they just have all the facial features on their chest. Holy. That's a rather weird winter image. There are also a lot of half creatures that share some characteristics with humans and others with animals. Like mere humans? Sure. Lastly, there are creatures that are said to be able to shapeshift into human forms, like 14 werewolves beside a dumpster behind a Waffle House. Stay horny, my friends. Strangely enough, some of our dragon myths said that they could shapeshift into humans, or that certain countries' royalty are descended from dragons. That would imply that they are genetically compatible with humans. Apparently. Sounds rather outlandish if you ask me. We certainly can shapeshift like that. Suppose that's why they're just myths. To be fair, we do have a lot of myths that seem quite out there as well, compared to what you're like. Anyway, how come you know so much about myths? All part of being an ambassador, not only did I learn about dragon myths in order to compare them to what you're like, but I also studied myths about creatures that are similar to humans so I could find out how similar they were to yours. Well, you're doing an excellent job so far, and it's bound to help me a lot with my game as well. You're going to put all of that into the game? Let's just say it gives me some excellent material to work with. I thought you wanted to give an accurate portrayal of humans, not just collect myths. One species certainly will be bundled after you, but that doesn't mean we can't introduce some variety with the others. People would love it if we also bring some of the more unusual myths to life. I see. But since we also want each of the normal human characters to be unique, I'd like to know how much variety there really is within your species. I've seen Riza before, so comparing him to you already gives me a bit of an idea. But how far do these differences go exactly? When we arrived here, you asked me if I was old enough to drink. That leads me to believe that your average human must be a lot taller. That's true, you could say Riza would be about the average for an adult. Not that it would be impossible to get a good deal bigger than him or even smaller than you, but those cases are rather rare and usually the result of medical conditions. I see. What about colors? Are there any humans who are blue like me? The blue man group. Not really. There are a certain spectrum of skin colors that could be lighter or darker, but so far I've seen a lot more variety in the dragons here. We do have quite a number of different eye colors though. Interesting. As for the things that aren't immediately visible, we also have different blood types. I assume you know about that. We certainly have those as well. Some people even believe that your blood type influences your personality. That, on the other hand, is news to me. Anything else you want to know? We already got so much. I have to think about if and how we can work all this into the game. Have you worked on any other games before? I worked on a few small projects during the course of my studies, and also interned at a studio before. This is on a completely different level though. How so? It's my game, so I'm the one calling the shots here. It's very different things than just making a few graphics when you are part of a bigger team, for sure. I see. How long have you been working on this? Must be several months now. I've got everything planned out, and a lot of the groundwork has already been done. The most difficult things are the characters themselves, and to make sure all of the details are accurate. Of course. Have you shown the game to other people yet? Sure, feedback is very important in the part of the development process, so I regularly gather ideas and opinions from others. I even made a website to do this. What do they say? All kinds of things, really. Sometimes it's hard to decide which ones have good point and which can be disregarded. Overall, it seems there are many people who are looking forward to play my game though. How many are we talking about? I don't know exactly. The counter on my website only tracks the number of visits, so I don't actually know how many different people there are. What if it doesn't work out? What do you mean? Well, you're investing a certain amount of time and money into making this game. Ideally, you would make your investment and hopefully get some profit on top of that. If the goal is to make money, sure. However, I just wanted to try my hand at doing something like this. If people are going to enjoy the end result, that's great. Don't forget that I also have made something I can put on my resume. At the very least, it would have been a good learning experience. With that attitude, I suppose you really don't have anything to lose. I can always look for another job, and maybe I'll end up working at the game studio. But I think once I've started doing something like that, I might not get this opportunity again. So it's now or never, huh? In a nutshell, yes. Not at all. And that all works out with your courier job? Sure, I can support myself this way, and I'm not really under any pressure since I don't have any deadlines to keep. Seems like you know what you're doing. I'd like to think so. So what kind of tools are you using to make it? If I consider what some of your species look like, I'm having a hard time imagining how the bigger ones could program a game. While we do have devices tailored to each individual species, I can't deny that my dexterous hands make it a lot easier compared to some of the others. One downside is that I have to keep my nails short, or else using the keyboard gets a bit cumbersome. I imagine you'd have to be careful with those while working as a courier anyway. You're right about that. One wrong move and you've suddenly shredded the letter you were just going to hand to someone. That sounds unpleasant. Luckily, that kind of thing doesn't happen to me anymore. Not only because of the shorter nails, but once you've worked there for a while, you just learn to be more careful. It's a bit sad to not have them as natural letter openers anymore though. And it's not just for me. Some people ask me to open their letters for them, since doing that on their own could be difficult for some of the less dexterous and older ones. Have you been working as a courier for long? I just got this job a few months ago, but I had a part-time summer job at the post office when I was growing up. My species is perfectly suited for the job, so they were glad to have me on board. I can see why. Of course, being able to fly is a big plus. My size means I can't deliver any big packages, but I often get assigned to urgent letters that have to be delivered as soon as possible. Huh? It's getting late. Maybe we should leave it at that for today. Yeah, I should probably head back to my apartment before it gets too dark. I got more than enough material to work with. Thanks a lot. Maybe I could convince you to meet with me again some other time. I'd like to get some pictures of you for reference. Alright, sure, here's my number. I can't thank you enough for doing this. You've been a huge help. Don't worry about it. I really have to get going now, so maybe I'll see you next time. Sure, see you. Lamps. Take care. Okay, now this is different. I just want to let y'all know. You know, Zong, he's awesome, and we've seen him as a background character in basically every route. So, in order to unlock his mini route, you have to talk to Bryce in the first chapter, and then in the second chapter investigation, you talk to him at the store, and I don't know where it goes from there. That's all I know to unlock it. So you're the, bartender from the other...
That I am. Did you have fun that evening?
Yeah, it was alright.
You know you can do more in the bar than just get drunk.
Oh, really?
I could show you sometime if you want to.
Is that an invitation?
Well, if you put it that way, it kind of is. Anyway, how can I help you?
Hello, I have some time to work through the stuff you told me, and now would be the perfect time to get some pictures of you. If you're not busy with anything else, it would be great if you come over sometime. So see you soon, maybe. Oh, we have more options, huh? We'll do Lorem first, because that's the main route, and then we'll do the others, okay? Because that's the main point, is to get that done. There you are, come in. Sure. Honestly, I can't believe you agreed to do this again. It's my pleasure. Now that I've had a chance to work through everything from last time, we could do some real work. Sounds great. I did a staggering amount of research on mythical humans. Here, let me show you some of the stuff I found. Sure. We sat down at the coffee table. Lorem opened up a laptop and started typing away. Seeing the laptop brought back memories. In our world, they had become obsolete a long time ago. Before I show you these images, I should probably tell you that some are really weird. Just don't take them the wrong way. You already told me about the four-headed human, so I think I can handle this. Alright. Oh, wow. That's supposed to be a human? That looks like, looks like something from, what was that movie that everybody was talking about where that lady banged a fish? The Shape of Water or whatever. I didn't see the movie, but I heard she fucked a fish, so hey. He looks attractive, friendly. This one is supposed to be one of our ancestors. Oh, good thing I didn't say he was, attractive. Ancestors? Well, it does remind me of some of the dragons I've seen here, but I'm not sure what humans have to do with this. You remember the myth about our creator turning into a dragon, right? Yeah. Now here's an interesting question. What species did that human turn into? Oh, wow. That actually is a good question. I think it would be, what Anna's, assistant was, because he was like the most human-esque. There are a number of dragon species nowadays that aren't genetically compatible with each other. Did humans choose one of them? Did they perhaps procreate? Oh, maybe. There are a number of dragon species nowadays that aren't genetically compatible with each other. Did the human choose one of them? Did they perhaps procreate? People in human society have been wanting to fuck dragons forever, okay? I would not put it past them to at least try. A shared ancestor is one option. This would mean that different species split after the human's involvement in our creation. If human DNA was evolved in some way, this might explain how our different species came to be. Take a far ancestor of ours and apply various amounts of human DNA. The results would be the same number of different species, each with a different amount of resemblance to humans. Interesting, honestly. Now it has been said that an upright stance and being able to walk on two legs is a more human trait. True. Right. In any case, this is one of the things that make humans unique. As a result, some people believe that certain species share more traits with humans than others. They think it makes them more noble or something. Luckily, this doesn't happen often. Oh wow, racism even exists in Dragon World. You can walk on two legs as well, right? Sure, In this theory of shared human DNA, this puts me somewhere in the middle, since I still have wings and horns. I can see that. Here, look at this one. Oh my God almighty. Hey. Yep. Not sure this is much closer. I won't want to live in the same town. What's with the little horns? I don't want to insult him like that's a picture of his great-grandmama. Oh, fuck. Since we don't know what the original human looked like, we can't exactly define which traits separate us from them. As a result, our interpretations of humans can be very wildy. Fair enough. I'm not sure he's a particularly friendly one, though. Actually, I think this is supposed to be a human female. Oh, okay. Alright. Interesting. I couldn't even make out a face. It looked like one of the melted monsters from Undertale. There are some that don't think humans are friendly at all, though. Really? So far, I've only heard positive things about us. Some interpretations of our myths don't exactly paint you in the best light. There are also some people who oppose the idea of human worship and what their involvement has meant for us. In what way? They say the human interference was unnatural and that we need to get back to our roots. And how do you think they can do that? Apparently, it means refusing to use modern technology and living caves or wilderness again. Like an animal. Pretty much, most of us think those people are crazy, though. As long as they aren't hurting anyone, I guess. That's my motto. As long as you ain't hurting nobody, I don't give a fuck. They're harmless, really. You probably won't see one of them around here anyway. This is an interesting style, though. Do you know how these pictures were made? No, I'm sure that information was provided when I looked them up in the library. I didn't copy all of that. And you're using these as references? I make do with what I can get. Maybe now you could see why I wanted your help, so. Alright, what do you need me to do? I just want to make some quick sketches. You can stand over there by the wall. Okay, I can certainly do that. I walked up to the spot he indicated. When I took my place, I saw that he had laid out a number of pens, paper, and other art supplies on the table. Oh, this is going to take a while, isn't it? Are we just T-posing there like, hey? I'll try to be quick about it. Do you want me to strike a pose or something? A T-pose! Called it! A T-pose should be good to get started. What's that? Just point your arms sideways, so you look like a giant T. Oh, I get it. Raising my arms to the side, I wonder how long this would take. Great, now try to stay still as possible. Can I still talk? Sure, as long as you don't talk with your arms. As I wasn't allowed to move my head, I stared at Lorem sketching my figure. This went on for a few minutes until suddenly I heard the sound of the door opening. Oh lord, this is weird. Hey, you look like Spike grew up. Ooh, I'm already having a hard time with Lorem. I'm trying different voices, and I'm failing at different voices, but the more I fail, the more I find good ones, the more I find bad ones. You get the idea. Never stop learning.
Hello. Alright, the human was going to visit today. I totally forgot about that. You don't mind if I take a seat, right?
You just want to study Dayzee.
Like you aren't doing that right now. Besides, this room is mine. Like you weren't doing that now. Besides, this room is mine just as much as it is yours. I'll just watch and be quiet.
I thought you had an experiment to run.
And they are running. I'd rather not be confined to my tiny room for the next 2 hours staring at the ceiling and waiting for them to finish.
But no experiments on Dayzee.
Yes, I'll just sit here and maybe take a few notes.
I'm sorry, Dayzee. This is my roommate and longtime best friend, Ipsum. Nice to meet you, Ipsum. Hey, how are you doing, man? Weather's fine. His scientific bluntness may be off-putting, so please bear with him.
Speak for yourself.
So much for these two being best friends. I mean, sometimes your best friends... Like, I say hi to some of my friends by going, "Hey, what's up, bitch?" Lorem returned to his drawing, the silence only being interrupted by the strokes of his pen.
Something interesting happened at work today.
Did they finally figure out it was you who was playing all those pranks?
No, they'd never catch me. I was talking with some colleague about the humans here, and I offhandedly mentioned that Dayzee was going to come over.
I don't like where this is going.
Some hours later, Anna barges into my office and said Dayzee is off limits to anyone besides her, as far as distant experiments are concerned.
Well, I'm not taking any samples. I could hardly be blamed for just looking at Dayzee.
Yes, but that makes me wonder. Dayzee, did you agree to visit her and undergo her rigorous testing regimen?
In another timeline I did.
Oh, good luck to you then. Oh, hey, Lorem, have you seen my Ipsum sphere lately?
Didn't you take it with you when we went to the park the other day?
Yes, I did.
See, that's the sphere we're talking about. Well, that's the last time I saw it.
I must have lost it then. I already searched the whole apartment.
Did you go into my room? Yeah.
No.
Maybe someone found it.
I had it registered in my name when I got it, so if anyone found it, it should show up sooner or later.
I remember the sphere that I found in the park. I dug into my pocket to show it to them. Wait a minute, are you talking about? And no moving around. Quickly, I extended my arm again to make it the perfect T-pose. Sorry, I just found something in the park recently that may or may not be the Ipsum sphere.
Where is it?
Probably in one of my pockets. At these words, Ipsum got up and walked over to me. So much for just sitting quietly in the corner and letting me work in peace.
We're talking about a very expensive piece of equipment here.
Just give it to him, Dayzee. I searched my pockets and looked for the sphere to no avail. Aw! Huh? It's not here.
So you don't have it after all. What a cruel kind of joke are you playing here?
I must have left it in my apartment.
What a shame.
I could fetch it after we're done with this.
It would be better if you just handed it to the police. After all, we don't even know if it is my sphere you found. Either way, the police should be able to verify and locate its owner.
Alright. What is an Ipsum sphere anyway? He's just a glorified toy for grown-ups, really.
You have no idea what you're talking about. An Ipsum sphere is a very sophisticated tool with a countless number of uses.
Like what?
It can levitate and follow you around, take photos, and you can even use it as a calculator.
That's actually pretty dope. Where do I get one? I can get a glorified toy for grown-ups.
I use it for my experiments.
Well, if it could take photos, I wouldn't need to stand around like this. That is, if we had it here now.
It is a great companion for all situations in life.
It's much easier to draw from a live model than a photo, though. Easier for you, maybe. I hope this doesn't take much longer because my arms went numb a while ago. Yeah, I think you can relax for now. I'm nearly done with this one. A tingling sensation went up my arms as I relaxed. Slowly, I began to regain feeling in them. Alright, now turn around. I thought we were done already. Not unless we want our humans to lack a backside. Hey, we all want that fat ass.
So that's what this is all about.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
Fat asses! Isn't it my turn to draw you now? That's not how it works.
I wouldn't mind getting a portrait of myself. I can already see it, the light shining from above, caressing my luscious mane. Highlights each locks as they interplay.
This is going to be a long day. That depends on how fast you are. As I was now facing the wall, I couldn't see what Lorem and Ipsum were doing. After a few seconds of silence, I heard some whispering coming from the couch. What are you talking about?
I didn't want to be rude, but I was just curious about your vestments.
It's another quote. This would be more interesting if it wasn't for those clothes Dayzee is wearing. Whoa, hold on now. We saved that for the third date. I see how it is.
I'm just saying, it would be hard to study an insect if there was a piece of cloth draped over it. Wearing that much just seems odd to me.
If humans wear clothes like this, it's only appropriate to pick them as such.
And my scientific curiosity shall remain unsatisfied.
Because Dayzee is not here to do that, and you would get in big trouble with Anna. We actually have a pretty big variety of vestments. I could tell you about it. Sounds good, but not right now. I have to finish this up first. Alright. So Ipsum, I've heard a lot about experiments in science now, but what do you actually do?
I work in the facility as a biologist with a minor in physics. In addition to the office, I also have my own setup here at home. I assure you, it's probably isolated from the rest of our apartment. It even has a fume hood to prevent accidents. But I only use it for small stuff experiments, usually things unrelated to my job.
Sounds okay. Sounds interesting. Don't get him started or we won't hear the end of it.
Maybe you would like to talk about your hobby instead, Lorem.
Isn't this already a hobby? I guess you could say so.
I was talking about his other hobby though.
Oh, that... I don't know, it's a little embarrassing to be honest. There's no need to be embarrassed about your hobbies.
He likes flowers. Once he even made a crown out of Dayzee's, cutest thing in the world.
Out of Dayzee! Hey! Can you imagine just like a whole bunch of my faces as a crown? That'd be hilarious. But that's adorable. A tiny little dragon who loves tiny little flowers. Don't listen to him as usual, he only tells half this story. What's the other half then? I have an extensive love for botany.
The fun he keeps in his room must be the happiest plant alive.
I find gardening to be very relaxing, especially when the birds are singing in the morning. It's so nice to go out there with a cup of tea and work in the gardens of our apartment building. Which reminds me, Ipsum here has quite an extensive tea collection, although I'm not sure if he prefers to hoard tea or gadgets. It's a mystery.
I heard there was going to be a model of the X-Men sphere that can actually make tea. That's going to be a must-buy.
Can it also make cups, or are you supposed to sip it out of the sphere itself?
Don't be silly.
You two sound just like an old couple. Couple us?
Not really.
We've known each other for a long time, though, if that counts. I think it does. By the way, Ipsum, you're not from here, right?
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, you look nothing like any other dragon I've seen here so far. I suppose that's true for Lorem as well. You're both pretty small. But you, Ipsum, also have hair. That's certainly new.
It's not as unusual as you might think, but you're right. There aren't many of us in these parts.
I imagine being smaller than the rest of the population could come with its own challenges. It's not that big of a deal. If something is unreachable for me, I can fly.
This apartment was actually intended to house one dragon of a bigger size. That not only makes it fairly cheap, but also big enough for both of us.
I wish. There's one thing I've been wondering. How do you even sit in one of those chairs? Wouldn't the backrest cause problems with your tails? I see what you mean. For me, it's never been a problem because most chairs are bigger than I am.
It's just a question of getting into the right position. However, this might be different from those of us who mostly walk on four legs, but they usually don't use chairs like these at all.
I've seen a few tries, though.
I suppose they want to imitate humans this way. Even if they can't stand or walk like a human, they can try to sit like one.
With varying results. Some I've seen look really funny, trying to sit in chairs they are too big for, or sitting in other ways that clearly don't work with their anatomy. I see. Lorem, you asked me about breath weapons last time, but I don't think you ever told me if you had one.
Probably because it isn't worth mentioning.
It may be very small flame, but it can get very hot. What about you, Ipsum? Yes, Ipsum, what about you?
My breath weapon is elocution, since words are...
Oh, elocution.
My breath weapon is elocution, since words are more powerful than anything else.
Same as mine then, huh? Alright, I'm done with this one. You can turn around. Really? But staring at the wall was so much fun. Let's make one more. Maybe something dramatic. Dynamic. How dynamic are we talking about? Something that isn't static like the reference models I just did. You could strike a pose. Something that's just you. Alright. What kind of pose should I go for? Shit. I always go superhero, kind of like a but, oh shit. I pressed the button without knowing it. Alright, how about this? Whatever I picked. I was gonna go for thoughtful, but oh well. Works for me.
By the way, did you get the groceries when you came home from work?
Yes, just as usual. Are you too sure you're not in a relationship?
I certainly am.
Actually, Ipsum is deeply in love with his home laboratory. Oh, really?
I'm not even going to deny that. When I am not working on something at the office, I do so here.
What are you currently working on?
I've been looking into the physics of teleportation.
You're talking about the portal, right?
But I don't have permission to even approach the portal, so I have to resort to a theoretical discussion of it on its mechanics and make do with what I can pull off in my home laboratory.
Maybe I could tell you a few things.
That won't be necessary. I've already read all the available test reports.
Okay.
Are you aware that using the portal could be incredibly dangerous?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Then you don't have a complete understanding of what the portal actually does and what it means for our world at large. In order for a portal to function, a natural wormhole is required. It is trapped and becomes the portal's entry. The portal manipulates the wormhole's exit. This way, something can be sent to whichever destination is chosen. Now, there is a theory about purpose of natural wormholes in the universe. It states that they act as support pillars of the space-time continuum.
How so?
How should I explain this?
I think a video game analogy worked pretty well.
So in a video game, what happens when you meet the edge of a map?
Watch my Danganronpa V3 Let's Play and you'll understand why I'm going really... Okay. You hit a wall? That happens in some games, but in others. You reappear on the other side?
Right. How does this happen? If our world was the perfect sphere, someone could just keep flying in the same direction eventually. They would end up in their starting point again.
Sure.
This is just a result of physics in the abstraction of video game. However, it doesn't work like that. They don't try to replicate a spherical world, but use a 2D plane instead.
This is getting confusing.
Imagine a piece of paper with a world map printed on it.
Right.
But it shows the entirety of the world. It's still just a simple flat piece of paper rather than a sphere, right?
Sure.
Let's just assume that a world map looks like that. Now what happens when we approach the edge and walk over it? Is that what we are teleported to the opposite side?
Okay.
This doesn't actually make the game world a sphere, but rather a torus.
A torus?
No, like a donut. If that's the comparison you want to make.
Okay.
Now things are going to get really complicated.
Shit! Should have been taking notes.
Are you familiar with the mini-world interpretation of quantum mechanics?
Multiverse theory. Let's say I'm not.
It states that every single time a choice is made by an actor that possesses free will, the universe splits into different branches. This means that for every choice you have made, there exists a branch of the universe where you made a different decision.
I see.
We can't communicate with these other branches in any way. You don't know what would happen if you had made a different decision just this morning. You can make an educated guess, but the only person who truly knows what would happen is that alternate you who has made that decision and is living with the consequences. That is unless we could communicate with those other branches. However, there is a barrier that prevents us from doing that. This barrier is made up of wormholes.
How does that work?
It is very similar to the torus world model that is used in games. As we approach the edge of our world, the barrier causes us to end up on the other side instead.
Does that mean we get teleported to the other side like in video games?
Not necessarily. It would be just as correct to assume that our universe is shaped like a torus.
So which is it then? Do we get teleported or not?
That depends on how you look at the wormhole's function. Imagine this sheet of paper as the entirety of our world.
He took a sheet of paper from Lorem's stack and showed it to me, marking a spot near the edge with a pen.
And this is where you live. Unfortunately, your workplace is here on the other side.
He drew an X close to the right edge of the paper.
If this world was flat, this would be very unfortunate. However, if the world was a torus, the left and right edges would be connected. You could take the short route to work by going over the edge. Now let's say that this is only possible because wormholes connect these two edges together. If you happen to be right at the very edge and look beyond, everything would look perfectly fine to you. Given that these wormholes stay in their place, you would never know that the world is actually flat, and you can only travel to the other side because wormholes connect the edges. You would think that the world is a torus.
Right.
However, what if the wormhole doesn't actually bring you to the other side by teleporting you, but instead just beams the paper into the torus shape and hold the edges together? If these wormholes failed or were displaced, the paper would unfold, throwing the world into disarray. That's what wormholes in the barrier actually do. That they are what hold everything together.
So they're really more like glue.
If it wasn't for them, the overall construct would collapse in on itself.
What construct?
The entirety of space-time. Now, if these theories are true, that would mean using a portal damages the barrier. Each time the portal is activated, the wormhole used for teleportation into place, leaving a small gap where it used to be. Do this too often, and the overall system would destabilize eventually.
Alright, maybe you shouldn't talk about your theories about how the world is going to end.
Nothing is going to happen because the portal was used a few times. I just hope humanity is aware of its implications.
Maybe we could collaborate.
I certainly hope so.
Your researchers seem to know what they are doing.
I just wish I could be part of it. With everything that's going on, the future looks incredibly exciting.
What do you think is going to happen, Ipsum? Now you'll get them started. Don't say I didn't warn you.
The knowledge...
Oh god, it is gonna keep going. This motherfucker!
The knowledge contained within your PTA could propel innovation forward by unseen links.
Meaning a lot more experiments for you to do.
Which would be terribly exciting.
Personally, I'm more interested in the social implications. What do you mean? I don't expect there to just be a back and forth ambassadors forever. Are you talking about colonies?
Oh, I bet Lorem will jump at the opportunity to live in the human world.
I'm not sure that would be a good idea.
Why not?
I mean, such an endeavor would need a lot of preparation. We would need to learn about their culture and adjust appropriately. I'd expect we'd send an ambassador over there long before that will happen though. We hardly know anything about the world. Everything's still up in the air as far as diplomatic relations go. We have no idea what the situation could be like in just a week. Yes, and it's also incredibly exciting.
Don't get too excited though, or else you're going to ruin your drawing.
It's almost done anyway. Here, what do you think? Lorem leaned over, holding up the paper to Ipsum. Ipsum looked at the paper closely, his gaze shifting back and forth between me and the paper several times. After a few seconds, he seemed finished with the evaluation.
As a scientist, my professional opinion is that this part looks a little long.
He pointed his sharp claw at a part of the paper Lorem was holding. Are you sure? Let me see.
If I wasn't sure, I wouldn't have said it.
I think you're right.
That I am.
Lorem reached for his eraser, purging a few lines from the paper before he switched to his pen again. And this is done.
See, what would you have ever do without me?
I don't think I would hear as many explosions in the middle of the night.
You were happy about it when you forgot to say your alarm that one time.
Suddenly, the sound of an alarm resounded throughout the room.
Oh, my experiment is done.
And there he goes. Charming fellow, isn't he? He sounds fun. He certainly keeps things interesting around here. And he's good art critic. I can imagine. Anyway, looks like we're done here. Phew, feels good to be able to move again. Would you like to stay for dinner? It'd be the least I can do to compensate you for your lost afternoon. Let me see, what time is it? It's getting late. It's getting late, and I probably shouldn't stay out this long. Looks like I'll have to decline for now. I see. Well, I got something for you at least. It was my pleasure. Minus having to stay still for the whole time. This was actually quite fun. How about I invite you again then? Sure, works for me. I'll think of something special. Just give me a call and we'll figure out the rest. Sure, bye. Good night, man. I'm gonna meet with the store clerk. I love Zorn. Where is he? Anybody here? There you are. Suddenly, he grabbed my hand and bowed to plant a wet kiss on it with his snout. What the f? Getting a little fresh, huh? Made the kiss noise and everything.
Hello, Dayzee.
I'm sorry, but I don't think we've actually been properly introduced before. What's your name again?
You can call me Zong.
Where is everyone?
Well, the bar is already closed and everyone's gone home, so it's just us.
I see. Wait, is that Bryce sleeping under the table? Of course.
Oh, you're right. I guess we're not alone then.
Does this happen often?
Sometimes.
You should start charging him rent.
That's an idea. Maybe I wouldn't have to work 2 jobs.
Aww. Right, what's up with that?
They're both just part-time, so it's no big deal.
I see. Which one do you prefer?
It's hard to say really. Bartending is much more fun, but working in the store pays better and is also more stable.
I'd choose the store then. Because I can have fun at home. At least you get to wear a uniform in both. That doesn't exactly seem common around here.
Yeah, they're usually very simple. I like this one. But after a while, the collar can get a bit tighter on the neck. The store uniform is just a chore to get on. The hat, the apron, it feels a bit constricting.
I could see that. He was interrupted by a loud snore that came from under the table. When I looked down, I saw it was Bryce turning over in his sleep.
What, Bryce, you want another beer? Sorry, mate, but the bar's already closed. Isn't he wonderful?
He's a bit rough around the edges, but seems like a stand-up guy.
That's pretty accurate, I'd say.
You seem to know Bryce pretty well. How long have you known each other?
Since childhood, really. We grew up here.
Oh, that's sweet.
If you think he's a bit rough now, you should have seen him in his youth. Such a troublemaker. But you can really rely on him for everything. I trust him with my life.
Seems like a lot of people have confidence in him as the chief of police.
They do, and rightfully so. The thing he's done for me personally were way beyond his duties. The mark of a true friend.
What'd he do?
Oh, it's a long story. It has more to do with myself than him, really.
Come on, you can't just start like that and then not spill the beans.
Well, if you say so.
I was adopted when I was merely a hatchling. It's really not a big deal to me and never really came as a surprise to anyone considering my parents aren't even the same species as me. My family isn't originally from around here, and when I was 8 years old, my father got a job here, so we relocated. Moving across the continent, losing all my friends, and making new ones wasn't so easy for me. I was young, new, and just a little scared. Back then, Bryce was a very curious fella, especially when people were involved. He came up to me in school, introduced himself, and we'd been friends ever since. Many years later, Bryce was already on the force, and my desire to find my biological parents had grown so much that I had made some efforts to find them. Bryce pulled a few strings, and with his help, I was able to track them down. He even accompanied me on the trip.
Do you want me to come inside as well? No, just stay here, alright.
Sure. I mustered all my courage and went to the door of their rundown home. What do you want?
Hello, is this the residence of the Hufun and Zoing?
What's done with that?
Well, about 20 years ago, you gave up your child for adoption and...
You know what? I'm not dealing with this right now. We didn't give you away so you could show up whenever you please. And don't even think of calling me your father. Damn, fuck this guy.
I won't.
He turned around and went back inside. Just as he was about to go close the door again, another person appeared next to him. Don't be rude, Young. Put me 40 or something, alright?
Alright.
Here, sit down. I'll go and make us some tea. Here you go. Don't you want to join us, Hang? You invited him here, he is your guest, not mine. I don't want to have anything to do with this. I guess he doesn't want to talk.
Guess so. Maybe
he's not ready yet.
Maybe. I guess 20 years isn't long enough.
Look, I want to say I'm sorry, but I know nothing I can say to make up for what happened. We had to give you away because we were young and stupid. These days, we aren't young anymore. I do like the tea.
It's alright.
Well, I've got something for you. She got up, walked away from the table, and vanished into a different room. Huang Fu was sitting on the couch nearby in a front TV, his eyes glued to the screen. After a few moments, Zhu Ying returned and rejoined me again. Here, take this.
What is it?
It's a hat we got you when you were little. It's one of the few things we still have from back then.
Thank you.
Do you want some more tea?
No.
Okay. I don't want to ask you this, but do you have some cash to spare? We really need some food and Huang doesn't like to go hunting. Damn!
I just brought enough for the trip back home. I don't think that...
Oh, you don't have anything? Then what are you still doing here? Fuck this guy, for real.
You can watch TV but not provide for your family. What a man!
Get out of my house! No, please!
Yeah, maybe it is time for me to go.
I don't even think about coming back. How dare you come in and disturb us like that?
Is there a problem, sir?
Who the heck are you?
Police! It sounds like there might have been some trouble here, perhaps of a domestic nature.
Not at all. I'm sorry, son. He doesn't know what he's doing.
I can see that. Come on, Bryce. Let's go.
You done?
I think I've seen what I need to.
Alright. Damn, man.
I cried so much that day.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Not that it matters much anymore. It's all in the past. But Bryce, he's been there for me when I needed him then. And he's still there today. Well, except for the part where, in a way, he's responsible for the whole town now.
How's he handling it?
Pretty well, I'd say. Everyone trusts him and thinks he's doing a great job. Anyway, let's put on some music. Give the old jukebox a whirl.
Sure. He got up and walked over to the jukebox in the corner to look at the selection.
Let's see. What kind of music do you like? Actually, I'm not sure if your music is in any way similar to ours. Let's just put on a few different songs and you tell me what you think, alright?
Sure.
Feel free to pick anything that strikes your fancy.
Shit. Piano, classical rock, electronic, Where's hip-hop? Or at least pop. Damn it. I do like piano.
Something easy. Do you know what a piano is?
You can play the piano?
That really Not many can actually. There are many kinds of instruments that can only be played by certain species, you see. Makes sense. Alright, now listen to this.
I like it, but let's try something else.
Didn't you like it?
It's alright, I just want to try something else.
I see.
Let's go down the list and listen to them all.
Now these ones are a real classic. I think it's one of the oldest songs we know about.
It's very nice, very calm, zen. Stop it, that's a...
Wanna hear something else, alright.
rock?
Without further ado, here we go. Oh, is it too loud for you? I didn't consider your ears may be more sensitive than ours.
Let's just try something else.
This is something a bit more modern.
That actually sounds pretty weird. Weird and cool at the same time.
What do you think?
Makes for nice background music.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe not for the bar, though.
Maybe.
This one's a bit slow, so you'll have to wait a while for it to get going.
Alright. Alright, listen to it for a while.
What's your verdict?
It was pretty decent.
It's one of my favorites, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now this is something a bit different. It's from the soundtrack of some video game, I think.
It sounds like a video game. I'm trying to think if they were like making some meta joke, but I don't think I've heard this song before in the context of this game. I'm trying to think, do I remember this song? I don't think it would be any from any big game that I would know about because of copyright reasons, so, you know, maybe I'm just wasting my time trying to figure out.
So what do you think about this one?
I like it.
Really? I didn't think you would.
Why's that?
Just a guess.
Oh, audiophile? What the fuck? Bitch. What kind of music do you like, anyway?
I like a bit of everything, really. I actually collect all kinds of music and paraphernalia, and the jukebox is curated by me.
Oh, nice!
Sometimes people even donate some stuff they don't need anymore. I'm pretty well known amongst the patrons for it.
Is the stuff on display over there yours too?
I'm actually trying to sell those.
You're selling your collection?
I'm only downsizing. That's just a player and a few old records I'm trying to sell for my holiday fund.
Oh, where are you going?
It's going to be a family holiday. Just my son and myself. Mainly for my son though. We're planning to travel across the whole country, making stops in various cities along the way.
Aw, he has a son. That's adorable.
I've been planning it for a while now and trying to save up to make it happen. We could never really afford a vacation while his mother was still around, so...
Aw. What happened to her? Just take all my money, okay?
I wish I knew. We fought a lot back then, about all kinds of things. When I think back to that time now, it seems like that was all we did. Argue about petty things that people don't need to argue about. Of course, it's easy to say that after the fact, and when it's already too late. I would never have thought it was bad enough to warrant doing what she did though.
What did she do?
One day she was just gone, packed up all of her things and left in the dead of the night. I don't know where she went or what became of her.
Damn.
In the end, I think she just wasn't ready to be a mother. This was almost 4 years ago now. But yeah, that's why I think we need that holiday to spend some quality time together. It's also why I took that second job in the grocery store. He's going to turn 9 in a few months, and I want to surprise him with it. And he saw this movie where a family goes on vacation across the country and all kinds of crazy hijinks happen along the way. He loved it so much and asked me all the time when we are going on a vacation like that.
I've seen several movies that could be referring to in like our way.
I just want to give him that. I think he needs it.
You said his birthday is a few months. Will you be able to afford it?
We're more than halfway there already. With the second job, it really shouldn't be a problem. It's just... I'd just like to have more of a buffer. Because this holiday will have all the bells and whistles you can imagine.
Oh, he's such a good dad. I see. How about I buy some of those records?
80?
You said they're for sale, right?
Yes, but...
I'll just put it down as expenses in regards to my visit here, so it'll all be taken care of.
You would do that?
Maybe. After you played me some of that music, I just can't resist. And all those records for myself. Actually, I'll need the player too, because I doubt those are going to work with our players back at home. Besides, I could really use a souvenir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me just get that for you. Here you go.
Oh, I'm so happy. I do that. If I ever like, right now I'm dead ass broke, but if I ever like have money and stuff, I'm a fool. Like I hear sad story here. Just take all my money, please. But maybe that's why I'm broke all the time. Thanks. I'll take good care of it.
I'm sure of that.
So I suppose you're going back in the game now, huh?
Game? What game?
I mean dating. Oh, look at him!
What makes you think so?
Well, what's all this? Why'd you ask me out?
You seem like a nice person. I wanted to know what you're like.
Do you kiss the hand of every nice person you meet?
I guess you got me there. I suppose that kind of makes my intentions rather obvious, even though I know it won't last.
Oh, he is like one of my favorites, right? It goes like Kevin, him, and like it just goes on, but I like him.
Besides, I'm not sure I'd call it a game. That's something that Bryce would do. I prefer to take things slower and have a lasting relationship.
Honestly, I agree.
I see.
Why'd you ask me out if you know it's not gonna last, though?
Bryce told me about you, you know. It made me realize I've got to get out there again.
So the first thing you do is ask the strange visitor from an exotic place. Be honest, did you just ask me out because I'm human?
Not only. I figured you could tell me more about human state and give me some advice.
Considering I haven't had a relationship in my entire life, other than like once for a week, but I really don't count that. I'm not the person to ask. I'm not sure if my experience would be worth anything here.
You're bound to have a different perspective of everything that goes on here. Maybe you pick up on things we haven't considered. I just want to hear your opinion. It's not just about dating, you know.
Well, let's talk about dating if you're interested in that. I doubt I'd be able to have a frank discussion about this with just anyone I meet here.
Alright, I think by now you've got a taste about how Brian is with these kind of things. He likes messing around. It seems he's got someone new every couple months. You should see him on some nights and how people just swarm around him. Can't you blame him for that though? He's a popular guy.
Do you envy him?
No, I don't want what he has. But I'm finding it hard to find just one perspective partner. You'd think I'd pick up on these things while working. But then it's typically not long-term relationships that are formed here.
I see.
I don't exactly have much free time to put myself out there. I'm not also getting younger. And don't forget that I already have a child to take care of. That doesn't make things easier, you know. In a way, you're not just dating the person, you're also dating the kid, if you know what I mean.
Now that just sounds wrong.
Oh shush,
I know what you meant, my man.
It can make things rather difficult, that's all.
Alright, maybe we'll have to work on your approach. What's the first thing you notice about a person?
Their personality.
Really?
I meet so many people here every day. When they're customers, the thing that always stands out about them most is how they treat their service.
100% agree. I say you can't judge a book by its cover, but you can 100% judge someone on how they treat service workers. I see.
Besides, I'm not interested in relationships based on looks. I like talking to people and getting to know them that way. This also makes the whole thing harder for me, because I have to invest a lot more time to find out if we're compatible.
I like him a lot.
You know, if a relationship doesn't work out for Bryce, he can just find someone the next day, but this process can take a few months.
I can imagine. I don't think there's a recipe for success I can give you, though.
Why not?
You seem to be doing pretty well already. You're nice and polite. I don't think you need to do anything different.
Is that what you think?
Yeah, sure, it may take a while to find someone, but I don't think there's any shortcuts for what you're trying to do. Just keep going and it'll happen eventually. Besides, you've got time to figure things out for yourself with the vacation coming up, right?
That's true. It will be an eye-opening experience in a number of ways. Maybe the relationship front is going to be one of them.
Now that's the right attitude.
And on that note, maybe we should call it a night. It is pretty late.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, thank you for the wonderful evening.
Likewise.
Not to mention the advice, and for buying all my stuff.
You're welcome.
Be safe, take care, and maybe I'll see you some other time.
Maybe. Aww. I really liked him. He's sweet. Looks like there's some messages on the answering machine. Let's see. Hey Dayzee, guess what? We're going treasure hunting. So put on a robe and your best treasure hunting hat and let's get going. Seriously, call me back when you hear this. Oh, that's cool. We can listen to the records. Okay, Lorem. Oh, and by the way, like I said in the other one, we're in this situation to unlock Lorem. I forgot to do it for the camera on this round. But as long as you, in any round, go in during the investigation to the police station, if you go there and look through Bryce's trash, you'll find, like, the base for the sphere. And you need that. Hey, Lorem. Hey, Dayzee. So where exactly are we going? You mentioned something about treasure hunting. But don't tell me we're actually trying to unearth some ancient human artifacts. Don't worry, this is going to be fun. Let's just hope for the best. I'm not sure who came up with it, but someone gave me this kit as a present a few months ago. He showed me the map. It was a piece of paper that had obviously been treated to look much older than it really was. Sounds like fun. I'm glad you agree. I'm not sure if I could be much assistance though. I don't exactly know much about the area. But you're big and strong. Or at least you are bigger and stronger than I am. You can do the digging. Okay, fine. Great. Besides, I've wanted to do this for a while now, and Ipsum is always too busy, so I figured this would be a good time as any. Do we need to bring a shovel, or do you expect me to dig with my bare hands? Well, the instructions say we only need to use this map and a pin. I got a pin. Great, then we're all set. Where are we supposed to go? If this is the facility, then this place indicated is the school, or rather, somewhere between the school and the administration building. Let's go then. Whoa! Here we are, the X on the map between these two buildings, so it must be around here somewhere. Back to the school, huh? Not quite yet. Everyone's on summer break right now. Which is good thing, because we really wouldn't want to get swarmed by all the children. They would go crazy if they saw you. How does school work here, anyway? Are you talking about this one, or schools in general? In general, I'd like to know more about how your school system works as a whole. I see you won't let a learning opportunity go by. I'm just doing my job. You should start looking for that treasure then. Sure. While I looked for the hints as to the treasure's whereabouts, Lord started talking. Right. We do have quite the education system. Different schools and districts run on their own. So when looking at the details, things could vary a lot. However, there are a few things that are true, no matter which region you are in. Compulsory education lasts for about 10 years. There are lots of options for schools and school systems. Choice is an important factor here. We recognize that there isn't one system that works best for everyone. So there are many options depending on what path you want to take. That doesn't sound too different from what it used to be like in my world, but nowadays things are a bit more chaotic. Practical skills are valued most in our city, and you aren't really given a choice to do anything else. Sure, people can learn other things on their own, but it's not if school isn't mandatory anymore. People just do whatever they feel like. Did you grow up like that too? No, I still got to experience our old education system, college included. What was your favorite subject? Art. Really, me too. I've always liked trying out different mediums. I tried sculpting again recently. What for? Art doesn't need a justification. Art doesn't need justification. But anyway, it helps me visualize what the characters in my game should look like. Can't you do that with a computer? Sure, but working with a physical medium makes things easier for me. Instead of working with an interface, there are only my bare hands and a lump of clay. No technological gadgets required. In fairness, I'm kind of like that with my art. Even though I'm digital media, I love drawing. Like on paper drawing. And then I usually like draw it on paper and then put it on the computer. I see. Did you find anything yet? I sure haven't. No, I feel like we must be missing something. Maybe, but the map clearly marks this place. You can see it for yourself. Yeah, the X definitely points to this alley. Then it must be here somewhere. Look in the water trough. Maybe it has something to do with the water trough and the faucets. Maybe let's check it out. We walked over and looked inside the water trough. Inside, the dirt was already a few inches high, a clear indicator that it hadn't been cleared for a while. I guess the janitor is on summer break too. Or maybe they left it here on purpose because our treasure is inside. It's all dried up though. Way too hard to start digging. Maybe that's what the faucets are for. If you'll say so. We turned on the faucets and watched as the trough slowly filled with water. That should be enough. And now? We start digging. Come on. What kind of treasure hunt would we be if we didn't get our hands dirty? I immerse my hands in the sludge. This is still pretty hard. Let's turn on the water again then. Lorem joined me. Both of our hands dug around in the sludge, which slowly became clearer as more water filled the trough. Hey, I think I got something. Really? Yeah, I think it's stuck to the bottom. Lorem's face was straining as he tried to pull harder and harder on the object he had found. Maybe I should try. I think I got it. Suddenly, his hands reappeared from beneath the murky water, holding a small, shiny object in their grasp. There it is! What is it? He opened his hands to reveal a big screw. Oh, maybe you should put that back. Yeah, maybe. By now the water had become clear enough that we could see where the screw originally was. After Lorem replaced it, we noticed that besides the water, the trough was completely empty. I guess it's not here after all. But at least the janitor will be grateful for the cleaning. Maybe. Examine the walls. Maybe it has something to do with the walls. Oh! What makes you think so? We're clearly missing something here, so maybe there's some sort of hint we've been overlooking. Something that wouldn't be obvious to anyone else who came through here. I have no idea of what you're talking about. These walls don't look special to me. My gaze slowly went along the walls, trying to find something. Anything that could have a hidden meaning. Hey, look at that! What do you mean? It kind of looks like an X on the wall, don't you think? I guess so. Maybe it's here somewhere. Look, it's there! Lorem crouched down and stuck his hand into the indentation that ran along the wall near the ground. Aha! What is it? He pulled out a cylindrical, shiny object and held it up to me. It looks like some sort of capsule. Maybe there's something inside. That's going to be a pretty small treasure. He screwed it open and held the two halves of the cylindrical object in his hands. To our surprise, it didn't have any empty space on the inside. Nothing could be hidden within. Instead, the two halves were engraved. What does it say? Doje. That's it? It's also on the other half. It might be coordinates. The grid on the map has numbers and letters like that. It means 2J would be here. Right in the middle of the forest.
Let's go.
Oh, hey, I got a second try, huh? Finding our spot might be a bit more difficult from here on out. Why is that? We don't really have any building and addresses as reference anymore. Here we only have a spot in the middle of a forest.
Don't worry, I have an excellent sense of navigation. Let's hope we find it before it gets too dark though, or things might become a lot more complicated.
I'd rather not get lost here.
You won't have to worry about anything. If there's any predators in the area, they'll see me as a better target than you.
Don't tell me there are predators in these woods. Shit.
Not really. There might be a stray or two, but that would be it. These woods are considered to be very safe.
Even if that's true, if worse comes to worse, you can just fly away.
I guess that's true. You kind of sound like you don't like the woods though.
I like going for the walk in the woods as long as it's safe.
Then you don't have anything to worry about here. I already told you, there really shouldn't be any predators in these parts. And it's not like these woods are haunted or anything.
Haunted? That reminds me of something.
What is it?
Maybe you'll be interested in this. In our world, there is a forest that was notorious for the many suicides that took place there, and it was said to be haunted by angry spirits. Suicide forests in Japan.
That sounds horrible. But why is there so many suicides there? And why is the spirit so angry?
Well, in Japanese folklore, people have a soul or spirit called oh Jesus Christ,
Rikon.
Upon a person's death, the Rikon separates from the body and goes into a form of a purgatory. After certain rites have been performed, the Rikon then goes on to join its ancestors and becomes a protector of the family. However, under certain circumstances, like the rites not being performed correctly or dying in a sudden or violent manner, the Rikon transforms into Yuri instead. The Yuri can return to the physical world and haunts until it has been laid to rest. So there you go, another myth for your collection.
Well, I know where not to go for my next vacation now.
I wouldn't want to visit either.
That makes two of us.
What do you think about stuff like that?
Paranormal stuff. You know, until a few weeks ago, humans were still just a myth. And if we looked at the portal, it's like something that came out of science fiction.
Ipsum certainly seemed interested in it.
He is. He actually read up on some new theories about it.
Like what?
You remember him telling you about the different branches and how the barrier separates them, right?
Yeah.
So since the barrier is made up of wormholes and using the portal displaces them, it leaves a gap in the barrier.
I distinctively remember him talking about something like that.
Through these gaps, he thinks we can communicate with our alternative selves in the other timelines.
How does that work?
It all goes into the nature of existence itself.
Who are you as a person? Do you think you are just Dayzee from this branch?
What about the ones from all the other timelines who have made other decisions?
Would you consider yourself to be the same person as them?
The only difference between you and the Dayzee from another branch maybe is that you decided to skip breakfast this morning.
I think we're completely different people. You know, you never wake up the same person you were when you went to sleep, and these changes could make drastic life choices. So, I don't believe I'm the same person. Who is that texting me? Oh yeah.
Maybe you are all of them. Maybe you are all of them.
How's that possible?
Like a seed from which many roots can sprout, or a tree and its branches. There may be a uniting factor that branches off into these different timelines. Your fundamental nature.
You might call it a soul or something similar, but the idea is that even though there are many different versions of you, there is an aspect that unites all of you. A part of myself that stands over me. Kind of like a superego. That's an interesting comparison. If we use a similar motto here, then we can say that you are also made up 3 distinct parts. In each timeline, you have a physical body which is driven by its own base desires that it seeks to fulfill. All physical needs like hunger, thirst, and even breath fall under this category. However, as a being with free will, you are also capable of making your own decision. That includes being able to act contrary to what your body is telling you. This ability to think and make decisions on your own is your rational mind, the self. And lastly, there is the third part I just talked about. The one that stands above all of you and unites you in some way. Let's call this your higher self. Through this higher self, you may be able to communicate with your alternative selves in some way. Usually the barrier will prevent this, but through gaps, communication becomes a possibility. The more gaps there are, the easier this should be. And how would I go about doing that? I suppose that would be the job of the higher self. So I can't control it? These are all just theories. We wouldn't really know until it happened. Only then could we study it. If this was to happen, how would I know? If someone else's experience gets relayed through this connection to you, it could manifest in a number of ways. Maybe it could be something like déjà vu or a false memory. Maybe even dreams. But the biggest difficulty would be recognizing that this phenomenon is happening in the first place. It's certainly quite out there, you have to admit. Sure, but quantum mechanics are already complicated enough. Once you look at what lies beyond, it's just crazy territory. What do you think about all this? I think it might already be happening. Really? Just think about it. If the possibility of it happening is there, then it's more than likely that it already has. I'm not sure I follow. Let us assume that this is an average timeline. The portal has been found, both of our people, contact has been made, and now you and Riza are both here for a visit. A few letters were exchanged before you and Riza were sent here, so that means the portal has already been used a few times. Using a portal once might only have an infinitely small effect on the barrier, like poking a hole in a castle wall with a needle. However, if you multiply this by a nearly infinite number of possible timelines in which these same events have happened, the effects must already be noticeable. Of course, some people may be more susceptible to this than others. You think you've already experienced it? I don't know. I've been having some weird dreams lately. Me too. Really? Oh, pretty. We were just entering a clearing, and from my view I could see some odd lines that had been drawn on the ground. Hey, I think this is the spot. Why do you think so? Well, the giant X on the ground kind of gives it away. Lorem took flight with a few flaps of his wings. After looking at the scenery from above, he returned to me. You're right, it does look like a giant X. I guess it's time to get our hands dirty again. That may not be necessary this time. What are you talking about? He went to the center of where the lines crossed and picked up an object that was lodged halfway into the ground. He returned to me once more holding another capsule similar to the one we had found near the school. If we have to go back into town after walking all this way out. And it's open. Apparently we're going 6K now. And where's that? There's an abandoned store on the other side of the forest. That's where we are going. That just means the way back is going to be even longer. Oh, wow. Is it flooded? Are you sure we should even be here? This is the place indicated by the map. I was talking about the building being roped off. Maybe that's just part of the game. Is the flooding part of the game too? Hey, you could give up if you want. I certainly won't. Now, are you going to help me or not? I guess. I just didn't expect that I'd have to get wet for this. Giggity. All part of being a treasure hunter. Let's just look for the X. Sure. Lorem flew up to the light fixtures to get a view from above while I checked out the shelves. I remember when we could still shop here. What happened? Apparently, this area has a problem with flooding. Oh, you don't say. I can see that. So much work and resources are needed to erect a building like this one, and in the end it just gets abandoned. We have plenty of empty buildings where I come from. Oh really? Not sure this is a good reminder of home though. At least we don't have a problem with flooding. I nearly got sent back, by the way. Really? What? Political reasons. Oh, I don't think I'm supposed to talk about it. You just did. Is it related to that announcement they made about Riza? Maybe. Huh. Guess things are pretty serious. They are. Have you found anything yet? Not really. Maybe it's underwater. You think so? It's certainly not anywhere near the ceiling. I already checked there. And I found nothing near the walls or on the shelves. It could be hidden beneath a floor tile or something like that. I suppose you're right. Let's do it. I don't like this, but alright. Without hesitation, Lorem vanished beneath the water's surface. I breathed in deeply, crouched down, and began looking underwater as well. Well, hey, are we in the bottom of the ocean? Is that a bunch of bus seats? I look around, but nothing seems out of the ordinary to me. Just as I was about to resurface for some air, I heard a splash accompanied by a loud thud. Oh no, what's wrong? What was that? Lorem? Everything was quiet, and I looked around for my companion. Suddenly, I heard a frantic knocking coming from the shelf that was lying on the ground, half submerged in water. I realized that it was still standing when we came in earlier. Oh no, he fell underneath it! As I waded over, it soon became clear that the knocks were coming from beneath. Lorem? I quickly mustered all my strength and grabbed the shelf, lifting it up until it fell over to the other side with a loud splash. Lorem resurfaced, gasping for breath. I was looking underwater and suddenly the shelf just came down on top of me. Are you okay? Yeah, I think so. My leg hurts a bit, but that's about it. But I totally saw something, let me show you. Ha, bitch! Unless you saw heaven. Without waiting for a reply, Lorem dove into the water again, resurfacing just a few seconds later, holding an ominous metal box that had a large X on it. This should be it. Let's hope it's waterproof, though. From the looks of it, it is. We should go outside, though. It'll be hard reading anything in here. Sure. Well, what's inside? Lorem held up the box to me. I took one of the sheets of paper that were inside and started reading. I think these are pizza vouchers, motherfucker! Lorem was holding another sheet of which he started reading aloud. Congratulations, you have sold but totally pizzas and your treasure hunt. Remember the code word enclosed for an instant rebate on your next order and a chance for the grand prize. You could be the lucky winner for a year's supply of pepperoni pizza. This competition will run until... Oh. What is it? It's expired! Oh my god! Balls! It's expired. The treasure hunt, the contest, apparently it all ended months ago. Can we still get the pizza? Well, I don't think the offer is still valid. I mean, we could still get pizza regardless. This whole thing has made me really hungry. I suppose this concludes our treasure hunt. What do we do now? Maybe we could see this experience as another reminder that the journey it's on reward. Or that the early bird gets the worm. You really want some pizza, don't you? That makes me wonder though, why didn't they get rid of the hints in this box when the contest expired? They must have realized that many people still have these kits at home. Even with the contest over, if people went out looking for a hint in the woods and it wasn't there anymore, they might look for hours until they decided there was nothing to find. Or they just didn't care. You know, I'm slowly starting to lose hope in Petroli's Pizza. Sending us here was really negligent. Who knows what would have happened to you if I wasn't here. Maybe this whole building could crash down on the next unlucky people who end here. Maybe that's why it was roped off in the first place. But you thought it was part of a game. Maybe they should have put up a sign or something. While I was talking, Lorem walked towards one of the wooden poles that was used to rope off the building. He picked up a large rectangular object from the ground that was hidden in the grass. It was a wooden sign. Warning! Do not proceed past this point. The treasure hunt has concluded and there is nothing to find. Danger ahead. Oh Lord. We could find the treasure, but not this huge sign. What does that say about us? I am not sure exactly. We should probably head back before it gets too dark though. We still have to go through the woods again. Alright, let's go. Do you want to pick up some pizza on the way home? Hell yeah. I don't know. Never say no to pizza, bitch. Alright, that looks like a good place to stop for today. So we got to go on a date with Zong. That was awesome. Lorem is adorable. I can never keep up with his accent though, so fuck it. I'm just going up with whatever I want at this point. Let's see. Ipsum seems cool, but he talks a lot. I mean, hey, it's better than someone who like just stares at a wall like me. Anyway, the idea about all the time travel and warps and stuff, that's also cool to kind of understand, because most times when you're looking at sci-fi content and genre, they don't really dumb down explain it a lot, because I'm a dum-dum and I don't usually get it, but I like how they are able to put it in my terms. That's always nice. So far everything is going well. We didn't die, and we got pizza, hopefully. So, I'm calling this as a W. If you like what you see, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you can see my content in the future. Also, if you have any game suggestions or you just want to say hi, leave it down in the comment section below. I'm Dayzee Hyena, and I'll catch y'all on the next vid.